I'm not joking. This instrument sounds really like this, and today I'm going to show you how to build one. So follow me step by step and I'm going to show you all the process. Let's start. I have to experiment different shapes, and having this laser engraver helps a lot. I just added a very huge tube that can suck the fumes of both machines at the same time. Now there's a problem. I cannot control with the computer both of the machines together. I usually use a software that is called Lightburn. It recognizes both of the machine, but I cannot start the process on both of them at the same time. But there's a solution. Lucky for us, this Falcon 2 Pro machine has a card reader, an SD card reader. So I can save the G code, which is like the machine position and coordinates and power language that tells the machine what process have to do. So I can save all the file and all the project I have here into an SD card, place it inside the SD card reader and just home the machine and press start. That's more than enough for let the machine work by themselves. So basically I don't need to connect the machine to the computer via USB cable. They can work separately via SD card, which is genius. So now what I have to do is design the project, which is very interesting. So we have a lot of triangles with a perfect shape and perfect proportion between one and another. So let's cut it, first of all, with a 40-watt laser cutting machine and see the result. The wood board I'm going to cut is quite thick. It's 18mm thick, but this 40-watt laser can cut it without problems. So what I have to do now is protect my eyes and remember always to don't watch at the laser dot. This can be very dangerous. We have only two eyes, so save them for all our life. So I can place the wood board here and frame the position of the cut. This is very handy because I can see physically with my eyes where the position of the cut is gonna start. So I can start the machine and it will take only a couple of minutes to cut all the wood board. I can then take the wood board and refine it with some sandpaper in any case. So after a couple of minutes, this is the result, and you can see that the cuts are so precise, everything is so clean. So let's move to the part. And so finally here is the first prototype, and you can clearly see that it looks so precise because it was cut with a laser. And now the magic happens until when we put some water in the hand, because we need to have humidity. This is just tap water, and between the hand and the wood we have to have a lot of friction because the friction starts to produce vibration. So let's hear now with wet hands. You can clearly see. And it's also so loud, and you can clearly see that the sound have change of frequency. Wee, 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 wee. Because here the wood is much harder. We have like a knot here, and you can hear that sound is louder. So I want to try to make the same project but with a thicker board and much better quality wood. And I can also feel that the vibration that produces sound aren't only coming, the sound isn't only coming from the triangular shapes, but also from the board itself. It's all shaking, it's all vibrating. So it can be a very great idea also to add something that can resonate and make the sound louder. So let's move to the shop and see what's in the mind. The wood I chose is teak wood. It's usually used to build boats, but I choose this one for another reason. I will explain you this later. The first mod is to round up the corners, because the first prototype was so uncomfortable to handle it, was almost cutting my fingers and my head, so I can use this round mill to round all the corners, and remember also to sand smooth all the surface. And this is the result. So nice, such a nice feeling to keep it in the hand, and now it looks like something I just bought from the shop. I can place everything inside my Creality Falcon 2 cutting and engraving laser machine. And maybe now you're wondering why I have two models, because I want to try to feel the difference between the 60 watt and the 40 watt laser engraving machine. Now probably you're wondering, can I swap the laser module between one machine and another? Let's talk about the main difference between the two laser engravers. One is bigger than another. The 60 watt has a much bigger heat sink than the 40 watt, but the main difference happens on the back side of it. You can see here we have a button and 3 different positions, and this is so important. With the 60 watt laser engraver, we have 3 different modes. So we can have like 22 watt power, 40 watt power, or 60 watt power, which are just precise, normal, and powerful mode. So with the 40 watt laser module, instead we have only 2 different positions. We have 22 watt and 40 watt, which is precise and normal. So we're talking about the connectors, if we can swap the 2 modules. Unfortunately, no, the 2 pins are different, so you cannot directly swap the 2 heads just like this. So I just came back to the computer and design and draw what I have to do. So we have the same project, but this time with something that can resonate in the middle, like a snail in the middle, and then I can start the laser module. This will take quite some time, almost an hour, but I want to do things slowly and precisely. So I'm just new to this machine, probably I can speed up the process, but it's just a matter of experimenting and taking notes about the results. So after all this time, it's taking shape. Just watch how nice and powerful is this 60 watt laser. You can clearly see that we are shooting sparks all over in the machine. Just make sure never leave alone this kind of laser cutters, because probably you can start a fire. And there's also an attention sign here, a sticker on the machine. But we are lucky. On the machine itself, on both modules, 40 and 60 watt, we have also a fire sensor that starts to create a beep and stop the machine as soon as some fire starts for a mistake, as always. So you can see that the cut passed all the way through, so let's move to the... And so finally, today is the day we can test if this really works or not. It came out great, it looks like something you can buy in the shop, and also at the touch it's such a nice feeling. There's only one way to test it, is just to pass the hand on top, and this way it sounds a little bit but nothing loud, and also on the other side here, even if I pass the hand very fast, doesn't create sound at all. So this probably I will throw it away until I put some water on top. It reminds me like the violin. You have to stroke the chords with a special cord and start to create vibration. So until we put water, we don't have enough friction, so apply very gentle layer on both sides. And today is a very hot day, so probably you will see the wood drying in real speed because it's so hot. So the wood is starting to suck the water that is in excess. Also the palm of my hand is a little bit dry, so as well the skin starts to absorb a little bit of water. That's more than enough for making the magic happen. So you can really feel that right now nothing is happening. Let's turn it this way because it only sounds if you work if you stroke it in one direction. Wow, you can feel that now it's working. The humidity is perfect, the humidity level is perfect, and the more I play with it, the more louder it will sound. It's a very strange feeling. Probably the skin of my hand works like sandpaper and smoothen more the surface of the wood. So wow, it sounds much louder now. Well, it sounds really like a violin. And the fact that we have different shapes, so the smaller triangle and bigger triangle, that's the effect we want. So you can change tone of this instrument just changing the shapes of the cuts, and you can also change melody. So for example, this sounds like peewee, peewee, peewee. It's like if you think about it, it's like a sound wave, but it's cut into the wood. And the most interesting thing is that placing the finger next to the spiral, you can really feel that the vibration is coming not only from these little triangles that I'm stroking, but also from the whole board. So I want to try to make like a telephone experiment and place it next to the ear and play it very gently because I don't want to risk to hurt my ear. So it's very loud. Maybe with the microphone you cannot really understand it and feel it, but it's very loud. So I have this hand that is a little bit dry. So lady, please.
Huck to and spit on that thing. You get me?
Yeah, it's definitely coming from the center and also from this spiral. Wow, here is much louder. It's so nice. Such an interesting project, and probably this is an instrument that can be used for meditational reason, like this kind of metal drums or a didgeridoo or these water cups are perfect for making yoga or just creating ambient music. So consider that I'm not a musician, so I'm just messing with it, but probably a musician can place in the right order and create the perfect melody and maybe play it better than me. I'm just testing it and messing with it, but I'm sure it has a lot of potential, this instrument, and it came out great. So let's go back to the shop.
So probably right now you are wondering, Rulof, do I really need a 60-watt power machine to cut such a thick board? So I cut the same board with the same thickness, and today we're going to test as well if it's possible to cut it with a 40-watt laser module. Of course it's possible. You can clearly see that the laser passed all the way through, but there's only way to find out if the cut is completed, and it's to place the wood block in front of a white light. You can see that basically it's completely cutted, but probably I need to make a couple passes more, and the result is pretty good. The wood is a little bit burned, but it's okay.
Wow, and right now are a couple days that I'm playing with this instrument, and the more I play it, the more it sounds better. Probably is the fact that the skin of my hand is so rough that it works like sandpaper and smoothens the surface of the wood. So right now it's playing, even if my hand is dry and the wood is dry, it's so smooth that right now I can play very loudly. It's so loud. I also broke a little piece, never mind, but it's playing very, very loud. It's playing very loud, so I don't know if you can hear me. But my favorite one is this one, and not only for an aesthetical reason. The texture of the wood is so nice, it's teak wood, but everything came so great. The laser machine has no problem cutting such a thick material, and it's working great. Probably something I will study are the shape of each triangle and the note it can produce. And once I understand the notes, I can arrange for my choice the sequence of these notes. So every time I pass the hand, I can create like a melody and not something so casual like this one. Consider that I'm not a musician, so probably somebody more expert than me can play a very nice sound with it. But don't worry, I leave you here in the info below all the 3D file, the vector file, and also JPEG, so that you can print it with your paper printer and apply the paper on the wood and cut it with your hands without problems. It cannot be very accurate like this one, but if you are more careful, you can have a nice result for sure. So if you enjoyed this project, please leave a thumbs up. Also for Creality, that allows me to test both of these machines. So we have the 60-watt and the 40-watt machine. Basically the base, so the Falcon 2 Pro base is the same, so no difference between the mechanical parts from one machine and another. The main difference I will say is the laser diode. Inside, remember there's multiple diodes that reflect and combine all the power of them into a lens passing between some mirrors, and they focus all this power so that we can have maximum power. So that's the trick and the secret behind these very high power laser diodes. So this is a 40-watt laser diode, and we can choose between two settings. So we have precise and normal. This one has three different settings. So we have precise, normal, and powerful, which isn't a bad choice if you want to cut very thick materials, but also if you want to speed up your production, because you can use a machine like this also to engrave faster, and you can see that the results are basically very the same, but this is much darker, very fast, and yeah, that's my choice. If I would buy one, I would buy the 60-watt. Also because I show you that you cannot swap the laser head between one machine and another. Probably you also have to modify some connectors. I don't know if it's possible. Probably yes, but I'm not really sure. So if you want to find more info about the Creality, you'll find all the links here below. Check them out. And at this point, I leave you here my two previous projects. That was also a wooden trombone made with lasers. So check it out and see you soon. Ciao, ciao.